Dear children, welcome back to our English class. Now I am going to teach you about the prepositional phrases. That is in page number 44 we see. You have to edit the passage. He has given everything in a wrong way. Now we have to place the right one. Now in the event of, this is the prepositional phrase he has given in the wrong sentence. Now we have to replace the in the event in the sentence by taking the word according to. This is the right prepositional phrase. You are going to understand in the event will not come for this sentence, according to the teachers. So, this is the prepositional phrase replacing in the event of according to the teachers. Janu is studying in class 10. Can you understand, children? Now, he has given here in the event. In the event will not combine with this particular sentence. We have to use a meaningful prepositional phrase, that is according to the teachers. Janu is studying in class 10. Now, she is a disciplined student in addition to her poverty. Here in addition to her is the prepositional phrase that will not be suitable for this particular sentence. This prepositional phrase will not suit this sentence. We have to write another one, in spite of. In spite of is the prepositional phrase where we have to replace in the place of in addition to. Only if we have in spite of here, we cannot have the sentence right. Now, in spite of her poverty, she is a disciplined student. Now, very well, in addition is replaced with in spite of. If you read the sentence, it gives a meaningful sentence. In spite of her poverty, though she is poor. In complex sentence, you can, although she is poor. This is a simple sentence, a prepositional phrase. In spite of her poverty, she is a disciplined student. Now, the next one is always neat. She is always neat. You can write here, she is always neat. Many students like her. In case of. This is the prepositional phrase which is wrongly placed in the sentence. We have to correct that sentence. Now, we have to write because of. The prepositional phrase is because of, replacing in case of. Because of her neatness, many students like her. Can you follow, children? Her simplicity. He stopped here. According to her studies, she also. Now, apart from her studies, not according to, you will not get this prepositional phrase in this particular sentence because it is completely incorrect. Apart from, this is the right prepositional phrase where you have to put in this sentence. Apart from her studies, she is also known for her simplicity. Simplicity. Can you follow, children, this? Now, age and gender in opposition to. Now, this is in opposition to is the prepositional phrase where that should be replaced by due to her opposition. To take leave, she ensures her age and gender. I hope you follow this prepositional phrase very clearly in page number 44. The last one is that she completes the work before. That she completes the work given. The work given before. She goes to school next day. Now, what is the, we have to use a prepositional phrase here. On account of. This is the right word you have to use. On account of completing the work given. On account of completing the work given, before she goes to school next day. So, I hope you are able to follow this very clearly regarding the prepositional phrase. First we saw the first prepositional phrase in the event of, according to, in spite of, because of, apart from, due to, on account of. These are all the prepositional phrase where you have to fit into the sentence in such a way so that the sentence does not go wrong at all. Now, you are able to follow this particular prepositional phrase where this will definitely occur in your examination. Please take it down in your notebooks. This is very, very important, or take it in your text. Write very neatly like this and underline the prepositional phrases. Now, we go on to the next one is yesterday I taught you the grumbled family, which is the substance of the poem, where you have to learn the appreciation and the poetic devices, alliteration, everything must be done, rhyme scheme and the rhyming words must be followed in a poem. The first poem, Life, is a memory poem where you have to memorize 4 lines every day, so that poem is a memorator poem where you have to be thorough with the poem with the poet's name. Can you understand, children? Now, we go on to the supplementary. The first unit is completely over. You have to learn everything, the short answers, everything connected to the prose. Then we come to the poem side, we have the appreciation and then the substance of the poem. Third, we have the non-detail, and the non-detail part is completely developing hints. He will give the hints and you have to develop it into a story. A passage will be given, that is a comprehension passage where you have to answer connected to that passage, that is supplementary. So, these are the model paper of the first paper you have to understand. Prose side, short answers with synonyms and antonyms, and then you have the paragraph answers. In the poem side, you have to revise all the poetic devices, rhyme scheme, rhyming words and the figures of speech that is connected to the poetic devices, and everything must be followed in such a way, and the substance of the poem must be written. Third, in supplementary, you have not much to do, that is the main thing. We have to prepare the paragraph answers that should go for 1 page. You have to write for 1 page the title of the story and the author of the story you have to write, and the comprehension passage. Very limited part is given in the supplementary. Now let us move on to the second supplementary, Zigzag, written by Asha Nehemiah. You have to remember all the authors, the poets. You carry mark in this. When you write a memory poem, Life, you have to immediately write the poet's name. When you write the substance of the poem, write the title and then the poet's name. When you write the summary of the prose, you have to write the author's name. These all are the minute details where you can get marks, score marks. Now, we have to move on to the second supplementary, Zigzag. See, as soon as we see the zigzag, we are able to understand zigzag path. The one thing that comes to our mind is zigzag means the path is zigzag, that is not straight, that is crooked, that goes this side and that side, that is known as zigzag. We use that word zigzag. Now, zigzag is the title of this supplementary written by Asha Nehemiah. It's a very interesting story regarding a bird, a beautiful bird, what all it does, that is known as, it has been called as a pet name as Zigzag. Now, we go through the story. The family that shelters a new pet, the family that wants a new pet is totally taken up by the commotion it creates at home. First, the pets, we have to train them. Unless we train them, they will cause lot of commotion and confusion. They have to get used to us, and then only they will adapt themselves to the environment of the household people. It creates at home. Read on the story to find out there is a turn of events when they get to know. It is given you have to write they get to know the reality. First, we cannot understand the behavior of the pets. Some will be very rigid, stubborn, and sometimes ferocious also regarding the dogs. When you come to this bird side, that is, they have to be trained in such a way where they have to accommodate themselves in our environment. So, we have to train them in such a way that they become one among us. So, in this particular story, the pet is handed over to a doctor. When we see that the pets you rear is given to someone else, it will not adapt very, very early. It will not be so adaptive to that family. First, it has to settle down. First, it has to know the family members. Once it got used to its old owner, it has lot of problem to get accommodated with the new family. Here we see in this story the same thing happens to Zigzag, a beautiful bird given to a doctor by his close friend Somu. We see the characters here. Dr. Ashok T. Krishnan's clinic usually sounded more like an ancient Chinese torture chamber than a child specialist clinic. Now, Dr. T. Krishnan was specializing in children. He was a child specialist. You know very well, the children who are taken to an hospital or a clinic will make lot of fuss. They will cry, they will make lot of problem to come to the doctor's clinic because they are afraid of injections. So, that is the main problem. They cry in such a way that we cannot tolerate that shout and that crying. That will be blood curdling. But blood curdling na rattattai uraiya veikumaru andha maadhiri oru satham poduvaanga. In that way they scream in such a way, and the screaming of the children will make the others frightened. The other children will also, those who are seated outside will also cry because the child which is inside, which is being taken care by the doctor, will frighten the other children by its scream. So, here we see Dr. Krishnan was a child specialist, and usually the children who come there will make lot of problem and they used to scream. That is the fright the first paragraph talks about. This was because the tiny children who were his patients left out a variety of, underline the word, blood curdling yells. தமிழில் அதை கிளியராக சொல்லும் போது அது என்ன சொல்லுவாங்கன்னா ரத்தத்தை உறைய வைக்கிற மாதிரி ஒரு சத்தம். That word will be used to the murders. One who murders, he will give a very long cry. The pain that he undergoes when he is stabbed by the enemy or the opponent. So, he will scream in such a way, those who hear that, they will stand and they feel that the blood is curdling. அப்படியே உறைய வைக்கிற மாதிரி, that becomes frozen ன்னு சொல்லுவாங்க. இன்னும் அழகாக சொல்லணும்னா blood will get frozen. So, here he uses a very nice word, blood curdling. The scream the children give in that particular clinic will make the others frightened. Else, and ear splittings, they will be keep on crying. Sob, cry is something where the tears flow from your eyes. Sobbing is you just heave. That is known as sobbing. That cannot be controlled. You keep on heaving. That is known as sobbing. Can you understand? There is a difference between cry and sob. So, here the children will be keep on sobbing. So, the parents will try to make them, and they soothe them, they calm them in such a way. So, his clinic will be in lot of commotion. Now, he is in his clinic, Dr. Ashok. It's all because my patients were making so much noise and crying so loudly. He apologized to his wife one evening that Somu couldn't hear me properly. He is talking to his wife through the phone, telling, see, Somu talked to me. I could not hear anything properly because the children were crying and yelling. So, his conversation could not be heard by me. I said whether yes or no, he cannot understand. he is going to bring his pet home. I did not give his word. Now we can very well understand Dr. Krishnan's wife, she doesn't like pets. So first itself he apologizes to his wife that Somu, I did not promise Somu anything, but he has taken it in another sense that I said yes. He couldn't hear anything properly, neither I could hear anything properly. So he apologizes to his wife that if Somu brings the pet, don't make him angry or don't reveal your anger to that man. He is my close friend. He gives the first introduction of Somu to this particular family. Somu couldn't hear me properly. He rang me in the clinic to ask whether we could keep Zigzag with us when he leaves for Alaska. So this is the part. Somu, his friend, wants to leave for Alaska, leaving his pet to the doctor's family. The Zigzag is a bird. Now they do not know what type of pet he is going to bring. Everybody has their own conclusion. They have their own conclusion telling it must be a snake, it must be a bird, it must be an animal, a dog, a cat or anything. So they did not come to a proper conclusion whether Zigzag was a bird or an animal. And now Somu thinks I said yes, even though I clearly said. Now this doctor is telling he would have heard that I said yes, but I clearly said no. But in spite of that, he may bring the pet home. Please don't show your anger towards that man. No, you are busy getting your painting ready for your exhibition next week. He stopped there. He was afraid of his wife because she was busy. She was a very good artist. She used to paint beautiful art paints and that will be exhibited in the exhibition. So she was very busy painting and he doesn't want to disturb her. Neither she also doesn't want anybody to disturb her painting work. So first itself he apologizes to his wife. Zigzag interrupted their 9-year-old daughter Maya. The second character we are introduced here. First is Dr. Krishnan, second his wife Mrs. Krishnan, third Maya, his daughter. Isn't that Uncle Somu's prized giant green and gold fighting wheat beetle? The one that spits deadly poison straight into its opponent's eye. So this man, Somu, is a pet lover, we call him. He used to bring different kinds of pet and used to have it at home. Now this girl is telling before he had a pet that was a very poisonous beetle. Is he going to bring that beetle here that will usually spit poison? So this girl is afraid of that beetle. They come to different conclusion. What is that Zigzag? Particularly what type of pet he is going to bring home. No, corrected our older brother Arvind. So the next character is Arvind. Eyes shining in pure delight. The beetle is called Spitfire. Now he says that beetle is particularly named as Spitfire by Somu. Zigzag must be Uncle Somu's pet snake. Now you can understand Zigzag means he mistook it as a snake. Zigzag must be a snake because this man had the habit of having poisonous beetle. So this boy is telling it must be a snake. Zigzag means it must be a snake. The African sidewinder. Africa, you can see many poisonous snakes and one particular snake will go on the sideways. It will wind sideways. It will not go straight. It will go sideways and it will bite. So he says that particular African snake must be a sidewinder. That's why he named it as Zigzag. You know, the one that slithers zigzag all over his house. So he has his own imagination. Aravind says he must have a snake there where it is be moving around his house in a zigzag manner. That is why the snake is named as Zigzag. You are both quite mistaken, the father hastened. Immediately, father says, no, both of you are wrong. He doesn't want to give beetle. He will not bring a snake. He doesn't have a snake. He is not going to bring both. But he says, seeing his wife's horrified expression, because his wife was listening to the conversation of the children. So, his wife dislikes pets. So, he says no, no. After seeing his wife's horrified, she was terribly afraid, and after that he says no, no, you children have sadly mistaken, that is not a beetle or a snake. Zigzag is a most harmless, unusual and lovable bird. Immediately he says zigzag is a bird. He emphatically says that is not a snake or a beetle, it is a lovable bird. Apparently it was bred by a genuine African witch doctor. This man Somu bought this, it was given as a gift by the African witch doctor. It was bred by a genuine African witch doctor who gifted it to Somu when he, being a child specialist like me, cured the witch doctor's son while he was touring the deepest jungles of equatorial Africa last month. So, like him, Somu was also a doctor. So, while he was touring along the equatorial forest you know very well, African equatorial forest, you have many rare species of birds, animals, mammals, reptiles, rodents, all types of animals you find, rare animal species, birds, and all this you can see in this particular equatorial Africa. Now, while he was touring the interior jungle of equatorial forest, he happened to meet a witch doctor, African witch doctor. Witch doctor, I hope you understand, by performing some magical work, they can cure a patient. These people are very backward, they are not educated. So, Somu met this one particular witch doctor, a female doctor, whose son was very, very critical. So, Somu helped him and cured him. Out of a token of gratitude, this witch doctor gave Somu this beautiful bird. So, immediately it was named as Zigzag, the deepest jungles of equatorial Africa last month. Somu says the bird is an absolute treasure and a real help. It is his favorite pet, you know. So, it was his favorite pet. It was an absolute treasure, meaning a beautiful bird given by the witch doctor to Somu as a token of gratitude for curing her son. Somu might be your best friend, but most of these so-called favorite possessions that he has given us were absolute nuisances. So, what his wife is telling is, you have talked about your friend that he has good possessions of treasured pets, but all this has turned out to be a nuisance for him. Not only for him, also for us, because before he could leave, he handed over all these pets to us. They have become a great nuisance in our family. So, she hates to bring any pet home because this would create a lot of nuisance and disturbance for her artwork. That was the first thing. Countered Mrs. Christian angrily, not in an ordinary tone, very angrily she reciprocates and say, no, I don't want any pets anymore. A talented artist, she applied a dab of yellow ochre paint onto her painting titled Sunset at Marina. So, she was drawing a beautiful painting, Sunset at Marina, where she paints with beautiful colors how the sunset at Marina would be. She is going to present this artwork in an exhibition, and this she was expecting more. She was expecting in such a way that this would help her give a name, earn a name. Paused for a moment to survey the effect and then continued. Remember the rare insect eating plant he brought back from the wettest corner of the Amazonian rainforest. He insisted that we keep it because it would eat the mosquitoes in the house, and now that wretched plant requires a room heater to keep it alive in Chennai. Now she says already he gave a rare plant that would be eating insects. So, that was a rare plant given by Somu already to this family. So, he said you keep this particular plant so that it will eat all the mosquitoes. It has a quality of eating the mosquitoes, attracting the mosquitoes to its side and eating it up. So, you can have this particular plant in your house where the mosquitoes will not come inside. He expected this, but that they have to maintain that according to the climatic conditions. So, she says we are keeping a heater to maintain this particular plant. So, we are spending lot on this instead of we cannot cut down our expenditure. So, you better ask your friend not to bring any more pets to our home. This was the comment given by Mrs. Somu. Ma protested immediately. Her son said, Ma, that's not really true. Uncle Somu has given us some really fabulous. Ma, don't say like that. He has given some wonderful gifts before he could leave to other places, right? Remember the tiny penknife he gave me last year. So, he is recollecting what all his uncle gave, Somu, his family friend, gave. Last year, this boy was presented with a tiny penknife, one with a genuine shark's tooth blade. It was, the penknife was very, very sharp. Shark's tooth blade. The blade was designed in such a way that it had the shark's teeth, very sharp. That has been really useful. Maya joined the protest. No one but you, Maya, Mrs. Krishnan told her daughter sternly, would describe a penknife that has cut open the pockets of 3 skirts and 2 pairs of jeans as really useful. You know very well, this particular penknife has cut your frock as well as the jeans, she says. And what about the aboriginal boomerang Uncle Somu brought us all the way from Australia, demanded Arvind. You can't deny that it was a great hit with everyone. Boomerang. That was a particular game where the Australian aboriginal, that is tribal people, play in the forest. When you just throw a disc to a certain distance, it returns back. That is the way of trick they follow to hit the enemy. Great hit indeed. Mrs. Krishnan didn't bother to hide her sarcasm and continued. She was very sarcastic about that. Considering that the boomerang sliced through all the TV aerials in the neighborhood, caused permanent damage to several cars in the parking lot and knocked out our watchman cold with force you threw it. So, these are the things she narrates. When you owned this boomerang, it was a real nuisance. How many things were spoiled by this boomerang, she quotes. The first thing, all the TV aerials were cut by this boomerang. The next one, permanent damage to several cars. When you throw it, the disc will move and it will cut open the glasses. That will completely broken into pieces. The third one, the watchman was hit by this boomerang. So, she quotes many nuisances of what Somu has given. These gifts given by Somu were a real nuisance to this family, she says. But zigzag is different. Somu says we are sure to love zigzag. Soothed doctor. Now, Dr. Krishnan is taking the side of the children. He actually wanted the bird. So, he said, now zigzag is a very nice bird. It is a treasure we should possess. That will be very, we will be very happy to have this bird. So, he calms down his wife telling, we can take the bird. He convinces his wife to take this pet to his home. Because the bird can talk and sing in about 21 different languages. Underline the word, this particular bird can talk in 21 languages. When you train a parrot, naturally it will be able to repeat the words how we say. So, this particular bird can speak in 21 languages. So, Dr. Krishnan wants that bird particularly in this house. Mostly African languages, of course. When it sings, it moves the listeners to it. The next part is when it starts singing, when this bird starts singing, immediately everyone will cry, move to tears. Eyes will be filled with water. That is what it is. So, this particular rare bird, the children also would like to have, and Dr. Krishnan also wanted this bird madly. It's Somu's thoughtless ways that reduce me to tears, Mrs. Krishnan said irritably. What a time to dump this multilingual talking singing bird on us. Here I am tied up in knots trying to get my paintings together for the exhibition. I cannot give any attention to this particular bird because I am busily painting for the next week's exhibition. Don't ever disturb me. This was her side of request.